and King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dededo. Always open, always local.
Ahead on Primetime, a bill aimed at tackling the dilapidated public parks on Guam goes up for a public hearing today. Plus, the results from the 2018 Agent Orange testing being reviewed. We explain what this means for Guam. And a viral video of high school students vaping in a classroom is cause for concern. Carmen Serlahi has the story.
Hafa and good evening, everyone. The deplorable state of many of the island's public park facilities remains a major concern for the local tourism industry. A bill to tackle the long-standing problem was up for a public hearing Wednesday, with stakeholders reminding senators about issues that have plagued our visitor spots for far too long: trash, vandalism, and filthy public restrooms. This is the kind of scene that greets tourists at too many of our public parks. Garbage and graffiti that ruin what is otherwise our greatest asset, natural tropical beauty. Senator Jim Moylan is the sponsor of a bill that would begin to tackle the problem through a public-private partnership to maintain the first 2 of 70 public parks.
We need to do something different. We need to take some bold moves.
The private company would essentially be in charge of making sure the park is safe and clean all of the time.
We are not selling our parks. We are not giving our parks away. We are not allowing any private enterprise to determine who cannot come into the park. It is a public park, and it will remain a public park.
But the contractor would need to get a return on investment, so under the bill would negotiate that deal with the Parks Department. But 2 agencies most impacted by the bill, DPR and GVB, expressed reservations about several sections of the measure, that it relinquished too much to the vendor, and they favor addressing this first in further roundtable talks. But tour operators such as John Ko of the Korean Tour Association are tired of the talking. He says most of his group's members have stopped Southern Island tours 10 years ago because of the lack of access to clean restrooms.
When you see tour buses down in South, either gas station, Pizza Hut, or side of the road, it's not mechanical trouble. They're using bathroom in the jungle to rescue themselves.
But Parks Director Richard Ibanez says they hope to have solved that problem, as just last week they signed a 5-year vendor cleaning and maintenance contract for restrooms at 15 of the most popular parks.
The specifications include minor repairs such as electrical, plumbing, carpentry, and painting.
He says they're also expecting about $5.6 million from the Interior Department to renovate the parks. But GVB CEO Pilar Leguana sums up what may be the most lasting solution.
We deserve to have wonderful, beautiful parks. It is an asset that I believe the people of Guam should treasure, and we should all, as an island community, also respect our parks as users. And if we all help out and we all do what we need to do in keeping and utilizing our public parks, it will be better for all of us.
Preliminary results from Agent Orange testing conducted on Guam in November of 2018 are being reviewed by federal and local agencies. What do those results say about Agent Orange and its use on Guam? Chris Barnett has more.
Sworn affidavits from military veterans who say they sprayed Agent Orange on Guam.
They were applying these things on Guam. Yeah. So that was enough for us to initiate the investigation.
These affidavits from former service members stationed here tell the story of Agent Orange use. One veteran is saying he sprayed thousands of gallons of Agent Orange from a 750-gallon tank hooked up to a tractor. Another veteran swearing he sprayed fences and pipelines on Guam. Veteran Victor Vreeland swore he dumped drums of Agent Orange and other toxic chemicals into burn pits on Anderson Air Force Base. All of these veterans sharing a litany of illnesses, from cancer to sterility.
The November 2018 results that we do have do indicate trace amounts of both constituents of Agent Orange, that's commonly known as 2,4-D and 2,4,5-T.
These 2 herbicides combining to make Agent Orange. While 2,4-D is still available for sale, commonly known as Roundup, 2,4,5-T was banned in the mid-90s after links to cancer and other harmful health effects were blamed on 2,4,5-T's high levels of dioxin. But Lee tells KUAM News that the discovery of trace elements of Agent Orange ingredients doesn't necessarily validate what veterans who sprayed the deadly chemicals say. Agent Orange was definitely used on Guam.
It's possible that these two were used independently from each other. So you're not going to be able to, we can't definitively conclude that Agent Orange was or was not present on Guam. We can only tell you that we have detected its constituents at non-toxic trace levels.
With Agent Orange testing and sampling done in April, November, and December of last year, we asked Lee just how feasible it would be to actually detect the notorious chemical almost 50 years after veterans say they sprayed it on our island.
Particularly when exposed to sunlight and ultraviolet light, will make detections that much harder, over just even a span of a few weeks.
Lee tells KUAM News sampling results from December tests funded by the Department of Defense cannot be released because they're being reviewed by Guam EPA's peer working group, which includes Joint Region Marianas. So we asked Lee if relying on the military to investigate itself is equivalent to the fox guarding the hen house.
If there's any cases of impropriety as far as you say, the fox guarding the hen house, we'll take that up with the proper authorities who have the ability to handle that.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
2018 Agent Orange sampling and testing was conducted at locations around the island to include Pidi, Tidzin, Nimitz Hill, Mongmong, and NCS. No confrontation or controversy at a confirmation hearing at the legislature this morning, but there was plenty of trash talk.
Where there's trash, she's a treasure.
I see her everywhere. She talks the talk and she walks the walk. And I mean, she is Miss Environment, Miss Recycle.
You can also add Miss Upcycle.
I think we have tremendous potential to create cottage industries using a variety of materials, plastics and bamboo and tires and six-pack rings and corks and all sorts of materials that can be used to create cottage industries and create items that can be sold either locally or to the tourists, and in effect they can take our waste with them.
Peggy Denny appeared before the legislature on Wednesday morning on her appointment to serve on the Guam Solid Waste Authority Board. She shared several ideas on diverting trash from the island's landfill. Guam Solid Waste Authority Board Chairperson Andrew Gale says Guam is at a crossroads as the agency is looking at the handling of the island's municipal solid waste being reverted back to Gov Guam. For several years, the local government has been under a federal receivership for repeated federal environmental violations at the Ordoc dump. Gale says Denny is a tireless advocate for recycling and upcycling, someone he says is needed on the board today.
But we really don't have that advocate that is out there knee-deep in trash and is really looking at that.
Denny has served in various positions at the University of Guam, worked previously as a program coordinator for the Guam Environmental Protection Agency, a project coordinator for the National Park Service, and is currently the program administrator for the iRecycle program, which benefits local schools from proceeds gained through recycling. She received resounding support for her nomination.
Caught on camera vaping, the chairman of the Guam Education Board today responds to the video of students smoking in class at a local high school. Carmen Terlahi reports.
Smoking in class and filming the incident for social media. This video isn't blowing over well with Guam Education Board Chairman Mark Mendiola.
If it wasn't for WhatsApp or social media or Instagram, we would have known that this thing was happening. But now that it's out there, how do we behave? How do we address those issues? And as a board, our main concern are the policies being followed in terms of discipline.
The discipline policy at GDOE Public Schools does not tolerate any type of tobacco product, including e-cigarettes. Superintendent John Fernandez told KUAM possession could result in suspension. As for teachers and our staff, he claims federal law bars the department from releasing any administrative action. Mendiola says violating, quote, privacy rights could cost the department $60 million in federal funds.
That it's an operational issue for us at the board level. We supervise the superintendent. That's our only employee. So, we have to trust that the superintendent took the appropriate administrative action.
And like the superintendent, Mendiola could not confirm allegations that any teacher was involved, but he does say he trusts the process.
Obviously, I don't know if a teacher was involved in it. Of course, it'll be very disheartening to know that. Because, our students are entrusted in the care of adults.
Adult care, that includes parental supervision. When it comes to keeping campuses vape-free, Mendiola says parents and the community play a major role.
I'm a parent of, children in the public school system, so I always ask, what are you carrying in your bag? I'm just an active, engaged parent, and, if you ask and, you check, it's not that I don't trust my children, but I just want to make sure that, I don't get a phone call, for stuff that I know as a parent should not be in schools. So it takes the whole entire community to really wrap ourselves around this, because obviously if they have access to vaping or even alcohol for that fact, you got to wonder when it comes into the school campuses, where are our kids having access to this?
Meantime, Mendiola adds the Island Board of Governing Students, or IBOGs, are also weighing in to strengthen board policy to tackle vaping on school grounds. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Carmen Victoria Terlahi.
Stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
A simple handshake. That's all Jake Calvo needed when he started his company. Today, 80 years later, we like to say thank you to all of you who have taken our hand in trust. Thank you to the dreamers. Thank you to the realists. Thank you to the family-oriented. Thank you to the entrepreneurial. Thank you to those climbing the corporate ladder. And to the ones starting a new life together. Thank you to the traditionalists and the edgy. To the young at heart and the old souls. Thank you to the daring, to the protective, to the practical. Thank you to the hopeful. To all of you from all of us, our deepest, happiest, and infinite thanks.
80 years here for you. 80 years thanks to you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
Looking for a great deal on a new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram? Then get to Cars Plus in Mighty now for our spring sales event. Like a new Jeep Compass Sport, $166 per paycheck. Or a new Chrysler Pacifica LX, $220 per paycheck. Or save $8,500 on a new Ram 1500. How about a new Jeep Wrangler Sport? Only $274 per paycheck. Low 1.99% financing is available on approved credit. Save thousands during our spring sales event going on now at Cars Plus in Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Ruby Tuesday's Seafood Sensations menu is back. Choose from your favorite dishes made with succulent lobster tail, shrimp, or our newest sensations with crab legs. Try out appetizers like crab fondue or stuffed shrimp. Pick an entree like the lobster tail or crab leg dinner. Select the lobster carbonara or the deep sea pasta. It's all ready and waiting for you. Get hooked on Seafood Sensations for a limited time only at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
When you get behind that wheel, be in that moment. Be there. Don't touch your phone. Don't make phone calls. Don't text. You have to be in that moment. Within seconds, anything can happen and it will destroy your life and whoever else was involved. My world was totally destroyed by somebody who was distracted. And so that's my message to Guam. Just heads up.
Welcome back. An autopsy was performed on a man who crashed into a container in Santa Rita on Monday. Revealed he died of natural causes. Mark Napalan died of acute coronary occlusion, according to police. On April 1st, officers responded to Napalan's vehicle, which ran off the road on Route 12 by Polly Ferdinand Way. Napalan was then taken to Naval Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. The Guam Police Department's Highway Patrol Division has reclassified the case from a fatal crash to an injured person. Did an inmate fall from his bunk bed, or was he assaulted? That's what the Department of Corrections is looking into. Inmate Robert Patterson says he fell. His injuries, however, were serious enough to have him transported to the hospital after it happened last Thursday. KUAM News has learned he underwent a medical procedure today. DEPCOR Operations Commander Major Anton Uggan says anytime an inmate is injured, an investigation is initiated. Patterson is confined in the post-18 housing unit or the medium-level housing unit. In 2017, he was arrested for allegedly raping a teenage girl. At the time of the incident, he was already listed as a level 1 sex offender. In 2012, he was convicted of criminal sexual conduct. The victims in that incident were minors. A suspicious vehicle with a pair of different license plates landed Jasmine April Cabrera in jail. On March 31st, police responded to a report of a suspicious vehicle outside of the Walk Creek Federal Services in Harmon. The pickup appeared to have two different license plates, one apparently altered with a black marker with Cabrera inside. The vehicle and plates matched the description of a Nissan pickup reported stolen on February 22nd. Court documents state Cabrera told police she borrowed the pickup from a new friend named John Perez from Dededo. Cabrera also had two black bags that had glass pipes and suspected meth inside. Court documents state she apologized for the drugs and admitted to smoking ice in the pickup just an hour before. She's charged with theft by receiving a motor vehicle as a second-degree felony and possession of a Schedule II controlled substance as a third-degree felony. Still no word on whether the hospital will remain a part of the key federal Medicare program. GMH CEO Lillian Posada says despite multiple phone calls and email Wednesday to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, she still hasn't received any feedback. The CMS sent notice about 2 weeks ago that the hospital was still deficient on two key conditions of participation. CMS set a deadline of March 30 to decide whether to terminate GMH from the program if it still wasn't compliant. The hospital sent its corrective action plan on March 29, but according to Posadas, they're still waiting to hear about their fate. Medicare reimbursements totaling millions of dollars account for about 40% of the hospital's revenue. The Guam Ancestral Lands Commission receives a clean audit from the Office of Public Accountability. Independent auditors Deloitte and Touche LLP issued an unmodified clean opinion on GALC's financial statements and the report on compliance and internal controls. In FY 2018, GALC had $3.3 million in total revenues, a $2.3 million or 215% increase from FY 2017. The increase was primarily due to an increase of $2.5 million within the Land Bank Trust Fund. In September 2018, the GALC received $2.5 million as proceeds of a sale of land to Guam Waterworks Authority. For a detailed audit, head over to opaguam.org. Are you on the Land Trust Commission's waiting list, or maybe you were passed over while others got to jump ahead and get a lease? Then you'll probably want to attend a working session scheduled for Thursday on proposed changes to the CLTC's rules and regulations for residential and agricultural leasing. The CLTC wants to hear from you. The working session is scheduled for 1 o'clock in the afternoon at the Department of Land Management in Tamuning. Topics that will be discussed include the management of waiting lists, the process of awarding leases, and greater transparency and accountability. Following the work session, the CLTC will hold a board meeting at 4 p.m. Coming up, Dave Delgado has the day in sports. Stay tuned.
MTO, professional janitorial services with a warm hospitality touch. MTO gives that gift year-round. Pressure wash roofs, pressure wash driveways, lawn service, home cleaning, carpet restoration, office cleaning, commercial window cleaning, floor care. When cleaning is in order, MTO has you covered. Call 647-6861 to inquire on how you can receive the maintenance you deserve.
MTO, celebrating 30 years with you, Guam.
Make every day a plus.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. In studio, Carol Pierce here, and we're talking about the Special Olympics Aquatics event. Now, the event is scheduled for June 1st,
Correct.
but you guys are having training sessions for the athletes, right?
Yeah, we have 8 weeks of training prior to the competition, yeah.
And this weekend, on Saturday, it's going to be at the Guam Sports Complex swimming pool area.
Correct, yeah. Again, your pool's not quite ready to open, so we're going to have our first practice at the Sports Complex pool, and it'll be in the morning. So the first session is for the 8 to 17-year-olds, and that'll be from 9 to 10:30. And then the adults, 18 and above, will be from 10:30 to noon.
Let's talk about the age groups that you guys are looking for as far as participation in competition.
Yeah, our first group, in order to compete, you have to be 8 years old. But you can train at 7. You can come in and train. They just can't participate in the actual competition at that point. But as long as they're 8, by the time the competition day rolls around, then they're good to go. And then our adults from 18 years all the way up, I was saying there's a couple adults that are older than me, if you can believe it. They're like, in their 60s. And they're going to be participating also. So it's all ages, all throughout there. So we're looking forward to another really good year.
And you guys are really trying to make a push for volunteers.
Yeah, we need coaches still. Our athletes require a smaller ratio, like a 1-to-6 ratio for a group. And then within that group, it can be, 1 to 2 is the best ratio to go for. So right now we could use another 6 or 7 per session. Coaches and assistant coaches, people who can be in the water and take direction from the head coach on how to work with each athlete.
And this is a big commitment for coaches that are going to volunteer their time, and you want to make sure that they do commit for the 8 weeks.
Yeah, it's really important for consistency to take place, because our athletes need to keep the same momentum going every week. If we have new people coming in and out every week, it's really hard for that. Yet they have to start over, get to know the athlete, and then they get going. So, and the athletes too perform better when they know and feel comfortable with their coach. So having the same person every week is definitely ideal. Yeah.
Anything in particular that you guys are looking for in a specific coach?
Well, ideally, we'd like, it'd be nice to have someone with water safety instructing or who has taught swimming before or coached swimming. We do have some young teenagers who have been coaching for a while for us, and they swim with the swim leagues. And so they've grown from being an assistant coach and now are coaches, and they're still in school, but so they have the experience of the competition and how to teach our athletes the competitive racing skills.
For information about how to volunteer and for athletes to register?
They can go to our Facebook page for one, and my email address is on there. They can email me or call the office and leave a message, and I can get them a form. Or if they go to public schools,